Welcome back to the channel, good people. This is the Ian West Network, and today I wanted to talk about the technical issues, or just issues in general. Not so much technical, but one of them is a technical issue, but just some of the issues that you're going to face when buying the Galaxy Buds 2s. Now, I was going to do this video a little later in the day. It's probably about 3 something in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I forget the exact time. But I felt the urge, I woke up, I've been doing videos pretty late. It's like clockwork now, so let's bring it up. Now, first things first, as you already know, if you're looking for a better fit headset, these are ones that you're going to be if you're a Samsung user. They slip into the ear. They feel very comfortable when you're using them after long periods of time. Unlike the Galaxy Buds Pros, which is a bigger headset overall, just the feel of the headset inside of your ear, which can cause not so much swelling, but ear irritation. These do a much better job of not causing that issue. Now, with that being said, there are a couple things that you're going to notice if you're coming from the Pros over to the Buds 2, compared to if you're coming from the Galaxy Buds Plus over to the Galaxy Buds 2. Remember, this is a direct upgrade from the 2020 Galaxy Buds Plus, the ones that have like 11-hour battery life, 9-hour talk time, all that good stuff. I forget the exact talk time, but it's up there. With this particular headset, remember, I'm a Galaxy Buds Pro user originally, and the reason why I switched to these in the first place is because the Pros weren't comfortable when I'm using the active noise cancellation because of the pressure in my ears, and there's a few factors that made them uncomfortable. Now, with that turned off, I didn't have an issue, but that is a feature that I use on my daily life, ANC. I need it so I can get on the subway because I don't necessarily want to hear the people around me. And in addition to that, I don't want to turn the music so loud that it can actually give you a headache, because there are ways to drown out the crowd, but I didn't want louder music. I wanted to keep it at like the 60%, 70% level where it's comfortable. I don't hear much going on in the background, and I could just go about my daily day commute and things that I do. Now, sound quality. I'm going to be completely real in this video. These aren't the best headphones. The Buds 2s are not the best headphones when it comes to sound quality. It's good, but it's not the best. Primarily because the volume is lower than a Buds Pros. And let's say we throw this in here, which is the JBL 300s, Tune 300s, whatever they're called, TWS 300s. This is a 2-year-old headset. And this particular headset, if we're talking about sound, beats out the Galaxy Buds 2s by far in volume and quality of music. That's why I always say headphones age entirely differently than phones. A phone that's 2 years old is like, outside of an Apple phone, is like 100 years old in the Android world. While, well, it depends on the model, of course, but we're just talking about just general phones. While headphones, they can still be sold in stores. You can still pick this up. Now, they do make newer headphones as time goes on to accommodate newer buyers, and they can just keep justifying that price tag because they add features to it. But realistically, when you compare these to the Pros, this music quality isn't that good. If you compare these to certain JBLs, to certain Anker headphones, you can compare them to AirPods. The music quality is up there. It's still top notch when we talk about commercial products, meaning you can get this in a store. It's sold everywhere, every cell phone store, Best Buy, Target. You can't not find Galaxy Buds 2s unless they're sold out. And I don't think that they are personally, because I found mine day one with no issue. The music volume, as you turn the music volume up on these particular headphones, what happens is that you can start, it's not necessarily a distortion, but you notice that it's struggling to keep up with certain instruments. The bass doesn't quite sound heavy as it would if you were using, say, like some JBL Buds, like I just talked about here, where it's consistent bass. With these, they have a bass feature where I can actually turn it on, and it's too much bass to me, where it drowns out highs and mids and lows in the song, so I turned that off. Plus, I do have equalizers in my phone, but I don't really use those. This isn't necessary with this. With the Buds 2s, when you turn the bass on, they sound just right, but there still will be certain songs and music where you will never get that true oomph, that bass that you really want, especially if you're in a rap into like heavy rock and that's what you're into headbanging music. That's what you want. It starts to struggle as the volume goes past 80%, in my opinion. the Galaxy Buds 2s, and you're going to definitely notice that, especially if you're coming from the Pros or AirPod Pros or a higher brand. That's why I say these are a direct competitor to the Galaxy Buds Plus. They're a direct competitor, well, a replacement. They're a direct competitor to the, I would say the Galaxy Bud Lives because of the fit. I don't think we'll see another fit with the Beans with the Galaxy Bud Lives, but the Lives have better quality sound because the Lives are closer to the Pros. It's just that the shape is entirely different. This is a direct competitor to the Beats Buds, which they are better than the Beats Buds. Almost everything is, not because they didn't really do quality control on the Beats Buds. They pushed that product out. They had LeBron wearing it. They did not care. They knew that they were selling a defective product, and they went along with it anyway. Companies do this all the time, so it's nothing to be surprised about. Another issue, well, what really we call this issue? Another issue that you're going to face with this earbuds. I face this all the time since day one. Because of this touch sensor on this headset, when these go into your ear, you normally just touch the first, my finger's normally touching right here. It's touching certain areas of the headset that aren't touch controls. So so during a phone call, you double tap in order to hang up. With the Galaxy Bud Pros, with a lot of other headphones, they normally have a flat surface or it's a protruding surface where it's easy, where the moment you touch it, similar to like when you pick a phone up and you put your finger on the back of your phone, it's natural for some people, especially if you have a fingerprint on the back. This felt unnatural, similar to like the Galaxy Bud, not the Galaxy, I believe it was S8. Was the S8? S8 or S9? S8, where the fingerprint was on the back of it in a weird spot. The reason I said in my original video, or the comparison video of the Galaxy Bud Pros, that you might get 70% hits on this, not that the touch doesn't work, because it does. It works perfectly fine. It's because you have to get used to where the touch sensor is, where sometimes even when I get used to it and I just double tap, I'm walking down the street, I want to hang up, the touches don't come in. I want to pause the song. Sometimes the touches don't come in because I'm personally hitting the wrong spot. It's a user error, yes, but this is the first time in many years that I actually had to physically feel around for the sensor because of where they put them in these particular buds. So if you're a big on touch, double tap, go forward, triple tap to go backwards, you might have an issue with this particular headset doing that. That's just the facts. Now, if you get used to it, if you look at the headset, if you go through the tutorial, which they do on the Samsung app and show you where the buttons are, or you can even turn the touch buttons off if you're not into that, you're perfectly fine. Just be aware that because of the shape and because of how deep they go into your ear compared to the Galaxy Bud Pros, you might accidentally think you're tapping the touch button and you're not hanging up, you're not turning the volume up. It will take some time to get used to. It did for me. Remember, each person is different. So you may look at this video and say, oh, that's not a big deal. I don't really care. It'll be perfectly fine. And it will be for you. So there's that. The second thing is the ambient calls. Not ambient calls, I'm sorry. The active noise cancellation is not heavy in this device. It's not heavy in the Galaxy Pros. But the difference is that, obviously they still wanted you to have experience of ANC. So they gave you a lower ANC setting. Granted, I don't have an issue with that. I catch the train. I'm in pretty noisy areas. Now we're going to compare the ANC to another product. The Liberty Air 2 Pros, which I really suggest people to get at the Soundcore products because they're amazing products. I forget there's actually a $79 pair under Anchor Soundcore where they have active noise cancellation. And an active noise cancellation, there's three different features in it where you can tap it for outdoor, indoor driving, and you can switch it around to customize it the way you want. The active noise cancellation in that headset for under $100, not the Liberty Air 2 Pros, but it's called something else. I forget the name, but I'll do a review on it eventually when I buy them again. It's so much stronger than not only the Galaxy Bud Pros, but these, that is actually laughable. But of course, some people don't like that suction where it feels like your ears are kind of just like being sucked for a quick second. It might irritate some people. So I do understand why they wouldn't get it. So I could walk down the street without music with those headphones and still not be able to hear my footsteps, not be able to hear cars going past. That's how strong the ANC is. With this particular headset, you'll still hear everything around you for the most part, but it'll just be faint light noise like footsteps, and you can still hear people's conversations, baby crying, things like that. These don't have great active noise cancellation. So don't expect grade A Bose quality. Even though they are $149, they're so expensive. You have to remember that this is for the average consumer, not a music head. If you're a music head, obviously over-the-head headphones, in my opinion, are the best way to go. If you're an Apple user, you'll get the AirPods. They're called AirPods Max, things like that. There are other headphones that you can get, and you'll just go to a real music store if you want to do that. But for the average consumer, yes, this will be perfectly fine. Battery life is something that I think should be desired much better than what it is. But granted, with everything that I'm saying, I haven't come across any technical issues where the headset would disconnect. The connectivity is pretty good in the headset. Now, occasionally, I will have that issue where I'm watching a video and sometimes the mouth will move, or it will be a second off and I have to pop the headset back in and pick it back out and it'll correct itself. That could be the phone that I'm using. It could be many situations. It could be the Bluetooth, but I will say that with the OnePlus N10 5G, which I have, which is a $300 phone, I haven't had that issue with the Galaxy Buds Pros. So latency is not a huge issue at all. If you're watching Netflix, if you're watching Hulu, you're not really going to have a problem, but occasionally this does happen. Not often. I would say about twice since I had them. I had them for a couple weeks. Now, granted, I had the headset in until literally the moment it died, and that's when it started happening. So I don't know if it had something to do with the fact that it had low power. That's a possibility. I'm not going to make excuse for the headset. But if we're talking about technical issues with the actual case itself, I didn't have that issue like I had with the Beats Pros. If we're talking about some type of random buzzing noise or issues, I haven't had that. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about with this headset, and this is a very important one, so please pay attention to this one, is the call quality. Now, Galaxy Buds have surpassed AirPods in call quality, in my opinion, years ago. From the Galaxy Buds Plus to the Galaxy Buds Live, which solidified that, to the Galaxy Buds Pros, they all have clearer speakers. If we're talking on a technicality, the Galaxy Buds Pros are better than the AirPod Pros. But if we're talking about software, the AirPod Pros are better than the Galaxy Pros, primarily because the read back to text messages and certain things, it's just much clearer. It's much better. Now, I know Samsung headphones do allow you to go to a setting where you can read off notifications, meaning it'll tell me I have a missed call. It'll tell me I have an email. It'll tell me that this popped up. I don't think you can read actual text messages like full threads. I know the AirPods do that. I know a lot of devices that connect to Google, like JBLs and other headphones, like the Pixels, they connect to your email through your Gmail, and you can activate that feature where it will let you know who called. It'll let you know who read that. I haven't been able to do that with the Samsung Buds. I have to dive deeper into that if you can, but it's not something that I necessarily want all the time, because there's times where I'm just listening to music. I don't want to be disturbed. It depends. It's all about your personal preference. But again, the call quality, if you compare them to the Galaxy Buds Pros, if you compare them to, they're definitely better than the AirPods. But what I'll say sometimes is that you can definitely tell that this is a step down from the Pro model headphones. Now, you may ask, what do you mean? What I mean is, when you put the Pro headphones in your ear, you know that the call quality doesn't get worse when you put two earbuds in. It actually gets better, and that's when the ambient sound or whatever mode you have kicks in. With this particular headset, sometimes it can the Galaxy Buds 2s can sometimes sound a little washed out, meaning the call quality still sounds good, right, on your end. But when I'm talking to someone else, it can sound a little washed out, like not quite 100% clear. Sometimes it drops from 80 to 100%. I'm just giving you like an octave level. And it's something like my wife would talk to me when she used them, and I'm like, why is your phone breaking up? That didn't happen when she had the Pixel Buds. It didn't happen with other headsets. Granted, she does work in an area where the service isn't that good there, right? But it doesn't change the fact that it did sound a little iffy at times. Now, if we're talking about clarity, and when we popped both headphones in, especially during music consumption, when ambient noise popped up, it gave you that rich Samsung sound. But the moment I put one earbud back inside, it had that like distant. It kind of sounds like you're in a hallway and you don't hear an echo, but it feels like the music is a little bit farther away from your ear. Like you took a step back from a concert, and it's like if I put both earphones in, everything's in my face. If you put one inside the case, it feels like the volume levels actually dropped a little bit, and it doesn't feel as clear as it would if you used two earbuds. I know it sounds a little crazy the way I'm describing it, but anyone that used these, if you try them and just listen to what I said, you'll definitely understand the difference if you're coming from the pros or a higher end headset to this one. Because these are $149 for a reason. These cost less than the Galaxy Buds Lives, and to be frank, the Lives, in my opinion, are better than these. I know some people like the earbud feel, where you have the rubber tip, the bigger rubber tip like these right here. But I like the Lives. I never had an issue with them, except for they kind of did hurt my ear because I wore them the way I wanted to get to maximize the volume. But these weren't bass killers. They weren't made to be that. They were similar to me to AirPods, except they just were a lot more secure. But again, I will say that this is a good headset. It's definitely worth the one. You know what? I do feel like this should have cost like $129. Let me not say that. It should have cost $129 in my opinion, not $149. But when you're a company like Samsung alone, you can hike the prices and people will buy things simply because of the name brand. But in my opinion, these are worth $129.99, not necessarily $149. If you do buy them, you'll be fine. I will get these over a JBL headset, even though I said this is a 2-year headset and the music quality is better. You have to remember, you have to look at a headset for what you're buying it for. If it's everyday use, you can't just buy a pair of JBLs because in certain situations, it may not be as clear in call quality. It may not be able to handle crowd noise better. It might not have ambient sound. This one does have ambient sound, but it doesn't have active noise cancellation. But remember, this is 2 years old. So what do you expect? While this is a 2021 product, and you can tell that Samsung isn't necessarily focusing strictly on the music. They're actually trying to give you it's kind of like the jack of all trade headsets, where something might have better sound, but this still has 8s across the whole board. While they might have 10 in sound, 5 in call quality. And that 5 is going to make a difference if you're on a Zoom call. I've tried these on a Zoom call. I tried them on a Discord. They're very clear. Most of the people that I talked to, they didn't have an issue. It's just occasionally if you have bad service, that's when the real issues popped up on the headset, where you can tell it was struggling to kind of keep up, especially if you have them at a higher volume. You leave these between 60 to 70%, they'll sound perfectly fine. When you bring it up, you try to play some Doom Eternal, you try to play some AC/DC, Hell's Bells or something, you can feel the hits, or like, what's it called? Metallica. Is that Metallica? Enter Sandman. I forget the name of the song. I said the name right. I'm not sure if that was Metallica that made it. But if you play a song like that, you can tell that this headset is struggling when it comes to playing all these instruments. It won't sound as crystal clear as it would necessarily on another headset. That's why I say the pros have spatial audio. They have better audio and better technology in it, in my opinion, which made them a better headset. I never complained about any of these issues with the pros. I only had these issues with the Galaxy Buds 2s. So on a technical standpoint, outside of the touch, I haven't had any issues with the case. I haven't had any issues with the software. It hasn't randomly shut down. It doesn't randomly disconnect from your ear. I haven't had any issues with the headset. It's definitely a good headset. Get it for $149. Get it for even cheaper if you go to Samsung.com, and they have all types of deals and things like that. That's pretty much the video. So I was trying to make it less than 19 minutes, but what's done is done. Let's talk about it in the comment section. So I'll definitely see you guys in the next one.